if I'm a college quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, who else is out there that's possibly going to come back to school? Why are you coming back? Quinn Ewers. Why? Go now. Watch these guys. These quarterback situations are brutal. And then you mentioned the idea of 4 or 7 teams that are in if the playoffs ended today. Like, give me my shot. I'll go take my shot.
Steve, how long is this?
I don't know.
I mean, it's not a trick question. You can just
Half
make a
a foot?
guess.
No, for instance, do one for me.
I would like to tell people that you just got 33 inches on the nose.
I got 33 inches on the nose earlier. I'm really good at this. Hold on a minute, player.
Oh, I couldn't tell as a tape measure.
Oh, that's 2 foot. It's 2 foot 1.5 inches.
21 inches. You were off.
Okay, well, I got a little cocky.
What was mine?
4 inches.
That was easy.
Yours was 4 inches.
He was close. He said half a foot.
Does that mean, like, is this a hint that, like, you're doing home improvement work at home and you just forgot to take your tape measure off your belt when you came in?
Couple things this guy
This
likes
is one
to
of
do.
our best bits, actually,
Well,
Steve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best bits. The other best bit that we have every time he walks in now is he pours a glass of water from variable heights. Like he'll take the water and he'll go here, and he looks around to make sure everybody sees him doing his routine.
I do this. And it is fun. It's a crowd pleaser.
Do your kids like it?
I don't do it for the kids. Do it for my kids.
Yeah, because you probably want to keep your house clean. That's why. You don't care about
no
the
drops of water
studio.
in his house, but in this studio, it's like Splash Mountain. So
Clean up after myself, too.
hey, guys, got back from Philly just a little bit ago. Wanted to shout out.
Boy, are his arms tired.
Why?
Well, you just flew in.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm sorry, man.
That's good.
No, I'm sorry.
I actually had the same pilot who 2 weeks ago asked me, he made direct eye contact during the briefing when it came to no smoking, no vaping. This time, Nolan is my witness. Sometimes I got to Sometimes I got to get a bird up to Philly. Like, it's a quick turnaround for me to even get up there, do the whole thing. So, like, it's a short flight. Me and Nolan popped in there, and the guy made direct eye contact during the briefing, and that just doesn't happen a lot. And I see him again on the tarmac this week, and I'm like, here we go. And he gets into his thing, and he actually stops because I'm wondering how he's going to play it. And he's like, I know you wouldn't consider doing that, but I just have to say it. And I just stopped the briefing. I was like, hold on a second. Do people really do that on these planes? Playing all incredulous?
It's 2023.
I was like,
ashtrays have been gone for 50 years.
I was like, for fuck's sake, man. Anyways, get on with it. And he finished the thing. Anyways, I got back from Philly.
Can I just add, because I hate to do this, being fortunate enough to fly with Scott. That's never brought up in our briefing.
Well, it's not usually brought up in my briefings either.
I'm just saying it. I was like, wow.
Might have been my cologne that day. I don't know. Maybe he's a fan of the podcast.
Maybe he's friends with Big Dom or has heard the Big Dom story.
Maybe he's heard the Big Dom story, which, hey, God.
How about Big Dom?
Big Dom, bro.
Big star.
Listen, I had my foundation event last night in Philly. Shout out to our Chris Long Foundation team. It was the team dinner. It was me and Connor Barwin. We do this thing where it's the first year we're doing it, but we get people together. We kind of recreate a team dinner without making the rookie pay the $20,000 tab. The people at the dinner, they eat for free. It's nice. And then hopefully they give you money later. So I invited some guys. After the Eagles lose, I'm not going to get my buddies to come down. It's just nobody wants to go out in public. I didn't want to go to Whole Foods after games like that, let alone a charity dinner. But there were some celebrities who I had, extended invites to. One of them, Howard Eskin, who, if you're a Philly guy, Howard. I call him genius. Love Howard. Brent Selleck came. AJ Feely came. Carl Nassib was there. We had, Harold Carmichael, Mike Quick, like two of my freaking heroes from in that building. Yeah, like total legends. So in Philly, they show up, but the one guy I wasn't sure whether or not he was going to show up was going to be Big Dom. In fact, I was pretty sure he wasn't going to show up because he's got to keep a low profile after last night or a couple nights ago. Dude, halfway through the event, it was like everybody's head turned, and they looked like through all the quote-unquote celebrities standing at the front of the room, and a guy in a sweatsuit walks in, and it's Big Dom in uniform. He shows up, just slowly paces down that hall of Steak 48, and it was like the mayor was in the building. There were people running towards us, and we were like, "Yeah, I'll do a picture," and it was like, "No, it's for Dom, dude." He's the most popular guy in the fucking city right now, and he's just doing his job. Maybe a little bit more than his job, but I wanted to show some love to Big Dom for coming out and supporting my event. But I'm back
awesome.
here. Yeah, I'm back here. My arms are tired, Macon. And so is my brain, because I've been thinking about this all day. And we're going to talk about Monday Night Football. But I got my first 15 for you here. And it kind of sparked last night. Steve, I'm in Philly, so we finished the event. It's 10 o'clock. I go back up to the hotel, and I'm intending on going to bed, thinking the Jags are going to have this in the bag or something, and I can steal like a fourth quarter of sleep, which you never can do. And I'm in the lobby, and I'm watching the phone horizontally, and my foundation team sitting there. Was some gals that don't really care about football that much. I mean, and I'm gawking at what's going on the fucking, this is before Trevor Lawrence gets hurt, and I'm gawking at the product on the field, and the fact that I'm watching it on my phone. You get this backup quarterback in the Jags on a Monday night. I'm like, ladies, the line is 10 points. I'm like, this just isn't supposed to happen. It's every fucking time there's a game, and they're looking at me like, uh-huh. And I'm like, you don't understand. This product is bulletproof. It's incredible. And I'm sitting there, and I'm having trouble explaining it. And then another QB goes down, and now we're sitting there, and we've got 4 of 7 AFC quarterbacks, if the playoffs started today, that are out, dude. And it's wild, because you're not even talking about the other teams. We're not talking about, Rodgers. We're not talking about Burrow, because he wouldn't be in right now. We're not talking about Kirk Cousins, Richardson. And, I would like to chalk it up to scrambling QBs, maybe more passing attempts, but it's not like these guys are getting hurt in any particular way. It's not like the league could do more to protect them. Even with all the crazy shit they've done, this doesn't fall on the league not giving them enough protection. The scoring is down. Unders are up, right? Primetime unders, other than last night, took an absolute bath on that. But the fucking unders are up. The red zone's terrible. Primetime games, they sign a lifetime deal with Zach Wilson unknowingly to play in primetime. So they're missing on a lot of key points here, and the officiating's terrible. The other day, the officiating was terrible. Both sides, Kansas City, Green Bay. So, you think maybe we can overcome that because we've got gambling now, and maybe that's why the NFL is so damn viable, is gambling. But if gambling is viable and guys are getting suspended for gambling, and the bad calls continue, then you get these conspiracy people who think the refs have something on the game, or they affect the outcome for Vegas. So I just think it's incredible that we're sitting here watching this product like nothing's going on, and there is a lot going on. If you look at the top 10 markets, TV markets, Steve, and I don't know, you probably already realize this when you look at it, but in New York, you've got DeVito, you've got Sleepy Tim Boyle, or whoever, Simeon. In fucking LA, you've got the Rams and Chargers, not very good. Chicago, in the basement. Ritter is your quarterback in Atlanta, and in Boston, it's a 2-win team. On top of that, you do have Houston with a new quarterback, one of the top 10 markets. The 4, 5, 6, I think, what saves them. It's Philly, Dallas, and San Fran. And maybe if those brands or those markets are rolling, you're okay. And also Green Bay looks like it's in good hands. But the fucking Eagles game was the top-rated game in 25 years the other day. And I'm sitting in the lobby, and I'm gawking at a Monday Night Football game between the Jags and the Bengals, and it meant nothing before Trevor Lawrence got hurt. And so, I'm just wondering, am I supposed to be marveling at this, guys, their ability to overcome this stuff, or should we worry about the sustainability of this product? Because it's real. It's a real problem.
I honestly do think it's bulletproof. I really do.
It's gotta be.
When you come down to it, it's an awesome point by you. Being there, I'm biased because I'm there. You walk in. I'm one of the first people in the stadium to tape my early shows. So I'm there at 3:00 through 1 in the morning at these stadiums when we go, and to see that last night. And I'm also biased because I have friends and connections on the Bengals. I have friends and connections on the Jags. So, like, I was super fired up because I got to see guys and college teammates and roommates that I hadn't seen in a long time. And then the schedule comes out at the beginning of the year. I'm like, that's like a possible AFC championship game. And then Burrow goes down, and then you see what Jake Browning looks like. I know Jake Browning from watching him play college, like not the most wow factor guy. So then you come in, and then probably my first time seeing Trevor since college, and to see him come out and warm up, and then you see the stadium coming. But like I can't believe how many bars there are on the level when you walk into that Jacksonville stadium. It's like not even healthy how many bars there are. But anyway, going back to your point, I'm sure we'll talk more about Jacksonville.
Well, the pool too.
The city. It just keeps churning, Chris. Like they don't wait for anyone. We just got flexed. We're gonna get Eagles at Seahawks for a Monday night game. There's different ways they keep fine tuning things where it's always on the top of the cusp. I mean, look what they're doing to Christmas. They started doing it Christmas Day last year. They have this audacity that is just it's like no other. The Christmas Day thing. It's been basketball, NBA for my whole life, and then NFL just decides,
it's ours now.
That's see ya. We're going to come in and we'll throw whatever amount of games we want.
Yeah, sorry, Matt.
Looking forward to it, you have the playoffs. I'm not a fan of this many teams getting in the playoffs, but we talked about this a couple weeks ago. What's it going to do? It's going to get another chance of a Jacksonville, a Cincinnati, where if you do lose your quarterback, you do have rosters strong enough to maybe sneak in and get yourself a home game if you could win, a first round game. Like it's so rare and in their own tier that everybody wants to comp things to it, right? There's no comp. They're their own animal, and I don't think my other issue off of this is if I'm a college quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, who else is out there that's possibly going to come back to school? Why are you coming back? Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
Why? Go now.
Yeah.
Watch these guys. These quarterback situations are brutal. And then you mentioned the idea of 4 or 7 teams that are in if the playoffs ended today. Like, give me my shot. I'll go take my shot.
I don't know, Steve. I kind of want to make him. You've been watching ball your whole life. Been watching ball. We're fans of the game. Like, we know what it feels like to watch Joe Webb start a game late in the season, and we've talked about how devastating it would be to have your main guy down for the TV part of it, and for the fans, not just the teams. I don't know if in today's day and age, and it kind of leads into talking about the Bengals. We'll get there, but I feel like if you've got a decisive backup quarterback, you have playmakers, and you have a roster that's built for success. Which you need anyways with a franchise quarterback. But if you've got that backup who knows where to go with the football, NFL offenses now are more paint by numbers. You know what I mean? Like there's a little less artistry. I mean, there's more in the play extension and that sort of thing. But these schemes are crazy. Mm-hmm. So if you've got a guy who has it down and you have a nice scheme and you just have a guy that doesn't need a big arm that can, just dink and dunk you to death, mix in a shot like Browning last night, just to let you know we can do it, because the whole game changed after that. Mm-hmm. You can survive, and I'm not saying it's like, but if we're going this way and quarterbacks are all slinging the ball 40 times a game, you're gonna have more injuries. You're gonna have more backup quarterbacks playing. The NFL has to figure out how to do that, and maybe the natural progression of things is going to do that anyways. Because I've seen backup quarterbacks win big spots. I was on a team with Nick Foles. Mm-hmm. If I'm the Bengals, I'm selling that dream to that team, because honestly, they're not that dissimilar. I mean,
no,
that's my point, is like maybe they can overcome it because the offenses have changed to where backups can thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not going to let me clear my throat. You know what I'm saying there, Steve?
You got a frog.
I'm not saying anything revelatory. I don't think that we should downplay, though, the things like fantasy football and gambling, and that it's one game a week. Every game is important. There are only 17 of them, and yet you're monopolizing the week with Monday night Thursday night,
Yeah.
Sunday night, like Steve said, Christmas Day, now Black Friday. The draft is a traveling circus. People go to the combine for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And there's parity. There's a salary cap. And social media. You open up Twitter and everybody's going off about Jake the Snake. Browning.
And even the bad stories are good stories. Because because of social media. Because people love to watch a burning car. You know, like the Jets, although it's terrible objectively, and, you know, nobody wants to see those games in prime time, there is a factor of like with all the access and information we had back in the 90s when there was a 2-13 team, it was just a fucking number on a paper and you weren't going to see that game. Now it's like we can fucking make fun of this team all week. There's quotes, there's access, there's memes, dude. What my dad would have done with memes as a kid growing up, you know, watching the Patriots pre-Tom Brady and you know, all that would have been. But now, there's even something when Joe Flacco enters the building week 11 or 12 or 13 to start against the Rams, and he's wearing a Browns uniform. Like these wacky stories that really don't equate to good football. They're storylines.
And you pull your phone out of your pocket, you start to talk yourself into a plus 16 every now and again.
No question.
Fun.
Every now and again.
And these productions, these TV productions are awesome. The cameras are great. The announcers are great. I mean, it's a very high quality viewing experience in large part because we're doing it from our couches.
But you hit on parity, dude. I think parity is the thing that they don't mind. That's the flip side of the coin of having like truly elite teams, which we only have maybe one of in the NFL right now, but we're riding the wave week to week. It could be another team. Like there was a point where we thought it was just the Ravens or just the Eagles or, you know, so it's going to change. But the parity is the constant right now, and I think that's a good thing for the NFL. Lots of bad teams, too. I think a hidden factor is with coaches getting shorter leashes in today's NFL, owners like David Tepper make it really hard for a team to turn the corner because the floor is so low. When you're cycling through more coaches, you're cycling through more bad coaches, shorter stints, less time to actually like implement a culture. Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, they haven't been a 13-win team every year, and people make fun of the 9-8 thing or the 8-8 thing. Being right above 500, but the floor is so high because they have a program. You know, they have a way of doing things, and so you don't have those programs anymore in the NFL, and so more teams are like one-time head coach factories.
And you're right. We like the bad stories, too. The controversies are good. The bad officiating is good.
It fucking sells, dude.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back in the chow line Thursday night for Patriots Steelers. I cannot wait, dude. I cannot wait. Nothing better than that on Thursday night. And you could tell me it means nothing, it means everything. And I can make it mean even more. That's the beauty of being an NFL fan right now. Okay, so talking about that game last night, Steve.
Yeah.
Do you think the Bengals can be like, maybe not the Eagles in 2017?
Yeah.
But they that's a dream you can sell to that group. I don't know you can sell it to Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, it's talking with people around there, like they were confident. They felt a lot better about Browning going into last night than they did the week before. I think a lot of that had to do with, you know, the pass rush of Pittsburgh compared to what Jacksonville brings to the table. But when you every person there brings up the culture in the locker room, and I think it's something that Zach Taylor, I think it's totally overlooked because of his demeanor and what he is. He's not this rah-rah, you know, Sirianni guy. He's not loud in your face. But, man, that's a tight-knit group. They lost Cameron Britt, you know, Friday in practice. And when you look at – you talk about the offensive systems. I don't think that Zach Taylor gets enough credit because you talked about losing quarterbacks, and everybody obviously always has a comment, whether it's a personal foul on a hit on a quarterback, and, you know, we get, you know, social media lights up. Is this roughing the passer? If not – the way the rules are now, it's like watching Jamar Chase in person, it's almost impossible to stop him.
Yeah.
And how creative Cincinnati is in moving him around and, you know, running that deep motion now with him. And then, you know, the Dolphins starting that, the trip stack where you change the coverage because, you know, the inside receiver off the line motions to become the outside, and that's how you see Tyreek get loose. And they started doing that with Chase last night. I do feel, and I think Cincinnati, I thought Zach said it after the game too, you know, they talked about the game plan coming in. You got his feet on the ground. He went 10 for his first 10 with all those throws, coming close to the line of scrimmage, and then you opened it up because you had confidence in him. And Zach Taylor said, no, that's not why. He's like, we need that time to see what the defense is going to do. And I just thought it was super smart. Like, it's just reactionary. They have all these bullets in the gun for a quarterback, even if it's a backup, to attack the defense. And it was just really, really cool to see because they answered, too. Jacksonville comes out. They take the lead. They get the bonehead double pass turnover, and that place is ready to pop up 7. And Cincinnati comes out, hits the deep ball to Chase, and then it's game on from there. So it was super impressive. I really like Anarumo and what that defense does, man. They don't have superstars, but, man, they got solid guys all over. And I mentioned the injury in the secondary. Another guy's come in. The kid Battle, I think, is going to be a phenomenal player from Alabama. He played a ton of snaps. They just do a good job. They don't bring pressure. Like, they're hot. What are they? Top 5 on third down pressures, I think Troy said. But not when you look at overall pressures. They're below, lower tier in the league. But they are super, super effective. And, as good as Trevor is, he still was a little indecisive when you watch it in person. And I think that's a tribute to what Anarumo does with that defense.
And you just said it. Taylor, sometimes we heap on him beginning of the season especially, right? When we're like, what are they doing? And earlier this year, like, we're questioning the scheme when obviously Joe's hurt and it limits what they can do. But it's another guy who's been there a while, and people have thrown rocks at him every year, and some people ask for his job at times. And same thing with McDermott in Buffalo. Now, I think McDermott has cost them at times. And, you'd like a coach that might have a higher ceiling from like an offensive standpoint. Yeah. But they're two guys with programs, and the floors on those programs are high. And, even with a backup in, these teams know who they are and what they need to do in these situations. So hats off to him. And for Trevor, for a guy that's had a bunch of consecutive starts, I feel like he's also been hurt a lot. And he's always dealing with something, and you feel for him. It means a lot to him. You could tell. I don't think he realized how bad a high ankle sprain hurts last night. I mean, I think part of it was like thinking, "Damn, I just broke my leg." I don't know. Maybe he's had a high ankle before, but as soon as he went down, you knew it was a problem. And for them, as I mentioned, even though it's a quick passing game, and you think, that should bode well for somebody like C.J. Beathard or a backup. I just don't see it. Not with the run game the way it is, and the defense. Man, the defense doesn't do them any favors right now. You played that game against, I think a couple weeks ago, maybe against Houston, and Trayvon chipped in, and Josh Allen was spectacular, and you want to praise that group, but they're not consistent.
No, and to compound things, we literally are going out to the field. And so we lose about, 2 minutes or 3 minutes from our walk from our truck to the field to get set up for postgame. And, Jacksonville's kind of a weird thing where they move their facility, but they still have offices. There's a hallway, and there's just this one hallway for us to come down. But I didn't know this, but that's the medical tunnel too. So literally I don't know what's going on for 3 plays, and then I'm coming down, and boom, there's Trevor Lawrence getting carried off.
You saw him up close in that? Were you in that video?
And I was right there in the tunnel, and I'm like, oh, man, what the hell just happened? And, like, he couldn't put pressure on there. And, again, to your saying, he didn't realize what happened. I mean, it's Walker Little, 300-pound plus with a foot on you.
Yeah.
Like that, you don't know when you get stepped on or you get kicked. Like, you don't know initially because the pain is so huge off the get. But off of that, they didn't put Walker Little back in the game. They benched him.
Right.
And I just look at that idea as it you lose your quarterback, but then also what are we doing up front? And I mean, Beathard almost gave the game away with the fumble on his first snap. But he knew exactly where to go with the ball. And the holding call was unfortunate. Did you think it was a hold?
No, I thought it was borderline. Of course,
good acting.
I was also on the Jags, so and so.
Steve, did you see any golf carts in those tunnels in Jacksonville?
No, they don't allow those in there.
Yeah, because why are we
Couldn't
doing
walk.
that? Guy can't walk.
Literally couldn't walk.
But he also strikes me as the type of guy that's like, I'm gonna walk off this field.
But he's not.
So you're not giving him credit for that. And also, when you turn your ankle like that, because I've had a high ankle, it's not like you land in basketball and you roll your ankle sideways. You're like, what just happened to my leg? It's got to turn a certain kind of way.
Does it need a new name?
Hey,
A high boy is what we called it back in the day, or a low damn high. We called it a low damn high because you come in there and they'd be like, yeah, it's just a low ankle sprain, and you're like, I can't walk.
Look, all right. So it does need a different name. It needs to be renamed, rebranded. The ankle sprain.
Yeah.
Because I can walk or I could step off the curb, sprain an ankle.
Yeah,
you know?
it's hard to get a high ankle sprain like as a civilian out
You
there.
hear Liz Frank injury and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's the real deal.
Yeah.
Well, Liz Frank was a 19th century gynecologist.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay, I heard that. No, I've heard that.
Yeah. He was known for taking out rectums.
Really? I didn't know that.
Look it up.
Yeah.
He lived in the 18th and the 19th century, so I don't know if we call him an 18th century gynecologist or a 19th century gynecologist.
Well, it's irrelevant.
I thought it was a woman.
But it's interesting.
Yeah, Liz Frank, man.
No, it's a man.
Also interesting.
It's a man.
But yeah, if you're gonna
Kind of a double whammy there because
if you're
you're
gonna
like
take your helmet off, slam it on the ground, and then get carried off, you can't then hear sprained ankle. You need to hear something cool like Liz Frank.
yes.
Or Macon Gunter.
Yeah, Pistorius, something.
Pistorius. We call it a Pistorius, who, by the way, he might be getting out soon.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's on the last leg of his parole. So, anyways, I just wanted to talk about the AFC playoff race because things are different now.
Yeah.
You know, it's just fucking different. I don't know. Like every week, I think I have this thing down and some injury.
Take a shot in the dark.
Well, I mean, you got the First off, what you got to figure out is the AFC South. Shot in the dark. Yeah. Huh?
You got it?
No.
Nobody else got it.
No.
All right.
Shot in the dark.
Stories.
Did he shoot?
Yeah, he shot.
Oh.
And I think killed his
No, I know he
girlfriend.
killed. I thought it was some other kind of way.
You get it now, cowboy? Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
no,
funny.
not for her.
Not for anyone, especially the editor of this show. Okay, so
I almost held it for Thursday.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So looking at the playoff race, I think you have to start by looking at the AFC South and saying, who do you think wins this thing? And the Jags, I think they're going to miss like a month of Trevor Lawrence. I could see him coming back. He didn't have to get the tightrope surgery. That's what happened to Kenny Pickett. And so Kenny, when he had that at Pitt, he was out for a month. So I kind of look at that as a baseline. I think, knowing Trevor, he's going to try to get back before that. But his first game could be, that Baltimore game. And before then, they've got the Browns this coming weekend, monumental game for them. Ravens, which you're like, God, I hope they look like shit this weekend, with no Mark Andrews for the second time. You got the Bucs, you got the Panthers and the Titans. So you got to feel like if you can split these two games here, I still feel like you can win the division. I believe in Doug. You got to.
Me too.
We're talking about this backup quarterback situation. Who's the guy who fucking took us to the Super Bowl with Nick Foles?
Dougie P. And Troy was right. He said Beathard looks mighty loose out there. He did.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
And they didn't have another guy suited up.
Yeah.
And I've always liked Beathard, but, as a backup quarterback. So, but look at all these teams. They're playing a bunch of backups. Texans, they got at the Jets, at the Titans, versus the Browns, versus the Titans, and at the Colts. There's 5 teams. They don't have the quarterbacks they started the season with. So you got to feel good about the Texans' chances, and the Colts, same thing. At Bengals, Steelers, Falcons, Raiders, Texans. That's a lot of games you can win there. So I don't know how to call this thing. I really don't. I don't know if you guys have a lean, but I think it's truly one of the more consequential things. Because if you look at like going to Jacksonville to try to win a playoff game against Trevor Lawrence, that's different than going to Indy to try to win a playoff game against the Colts. And for one of these wild card teams, it's going to matter.
Let me answer a different question.
Yeah.
If you figure it's Miami, Baltimore, and Kansas City, you got Jacksonville and Houston, who would you like to see with those last 2 spots? I would love for Buffalo to find their way in there. It's going to be tough. Probably have to win 4 out of 5. Might have to start this week in Kansas City. But I would like to see that offense more than I would like to see, say, the Cleveland Browns.
I could see Buffalo beating Dallas, right? They play Dallas next week. I think they could lose to Kansas City, beat Dallas, and then from there on out, it's like it's 2 cupcakes and the Dolphins. I mean, who you throttled many moons ago with many more players on the field on defense especially. But, I think they could be in there. I don't want to sell Pittsburgh yet.
Yeah.
Because I really do think they're going to find a way to win tomorrow. I think they'll find a way. And you could be honest, too. We're not playing Thursday Night Time Machine right now.
Well, I think they will.
I think they're going to find a way to win. And then they play the Colts. That's a big one. You get the Bengals again. And, you said it. It's different, Browning against Jacksonville's defense with no pass rush and those guys. So at some point you get Kenny back, and I thought they looked good before he got hurt. So it's wide open, man. I don't know how to call it, but this AFC playoff race, looking at the percentages, Matt, what are some of the interesting numbers you saw from NewYorkTimes.com?
I just think how good a chance the Colts have to make the playoffs. It puts them about a 2/3 chance. And if you look ahead, the Colts really control their own destiny a lot, playing teams that they need to get through, especially the last game of the season against the Texans.
So all 3 teams from the AFC South could get in.
Yeah.
And there's also a world where in 2 weeks – the Colts are leading the division, right? Or,
Yeah.
So it's crazy what could happen at the end of this season.
Lamestream liberal podcast.
Why?
Surprise! Oh, the
New York Times. Yeah, we should get the Breitbart numbers. Jets, 98% chance. Is Mason Rudolph starting for the Steelers? If so, Steve's just staring at the monitor. Okay, and we didn't even mention with Jacksonville, they lost Christian Kirk, so it's bad news.
Top of all that, going into last night, they controlled their own destiny for home field.
Yeah.
It was
That's
all good
what was
just
sad.
a week ago, bro.
I mean, the whole thing.
When I put in that over 10.5 season win total on the Jags. Yeah, exactly.
One other
I have that
that
one,
stood
too.
out was that the Dolphins are now a considerable favorite to get the round 1 bye, according to this projection.
And the projection, here's what's interesting about
Worst 1 seed ever?
No,
wait.
listen, here's how I feel about the Finns. They're scary. They're potentially the best team in the league. But it's like the conversation I had with my guy, T. Brown or whatever his name is on X.com. I DM with this Dolphins fan.
Oh.
And it's turned into like a friendship because, the guy, he knows ball, but these Dolphins fans, they're under a spell. It's like, hey, buddy, I got to see you beat a good team. And they're going to have that opportunity. If they get the 1 seed, they're going to be the odds-on favorite to come out because they play really well at home. And the teams they play at the end of the season, the Bills, the Cowboys, the Ravens, I think, are 3 of the teams they play at the end of the year. Yep, they're going to be Titans and Jets, cupcake. We're going to be talking about how great they are. This is what happens every time there's a spell in good teams they play. Whoa, holy shit, and then we play these teams. So if they can beat these teams, they are the most dangerous team in the AFC. But I still believe the Chiefs because I think they've got a good chance this weekend. I think the next week, they got the Patriots at the Patriots, then the Raiders, the Bengals, and at the Chargers. So if they win this weekend, they're going to have the tiebreak over Baltimore, I believe, because of conference record. That's one thing is Baltimore's losses have come in conference. The Chiefs have lost to the Eagles, the Lions, another NFC team, and one AFC team.
Green Bay.
Obviously, how could I forget? That's why I'm Chase Long right now, along with last night.
At least you get to bet the NBA in-season tournament.
I don't know that I'm going to do that, Matt. I was texting Matt for NBA winners and shit. It's desperate right now.
Oh, you are Chase Long.
Yeah, I'm Chase Long big time right now.
New week. Come on.
So, yeah, I mean, if you look at the AFC, it's all about matchups. It really is, and I can't wait for these playoffs, even with the backups, because I think some of these teams with backups are still pretty formidable. Colts being one.
You know who doesn't have a backup?
Who?
Denver.
Exactly, and they're
they're
21%, but also they were 20. We talked about how big the Houston game was. They were going to plummet mathematically if they lost that game. But looking around the league right now at Jacksonville and some of these other teams, not that Jacksonville they're ever going to leapfrog them, but everything just seems a little bit more attainable.
I got Denver in.
This podcast is brought to you by Cash App, the all-in-one app for spending, sending, and setting easy-to-track savings goals. With multiple tools for saving, spending, and sending, Cash App is an all-in-one way to stay in control of your money. Whether I need to send money to my pumpkin grower, pay for anything related to floating the river, quickly pay back a buddy for a night out on the town, or settle a bet, I can always count on Cash App. With security, boosts, discounts, a free-to-order debit card, no overdraft fees, Cash App is like a BFF for your money. It can be your Reed. Reed's my BFF in the studio. Cash App, the exclusive financial services partner of Greenlight. Download it in the App Store or Google Play to see why it's the #1 finance app in the U.S. App Store.
Steve, I'm making you a committee member here for our 4-team NFL playoff, all right? Okay. We can pick 4 teams regardless of conference, your top 4 teams, a la the NC2A.
Let's huddle up on this.
I'll nominate first the San Francisco 49ers for the 1 seed.
That's a good call. And by the way, this isn't supposed to take long. It really shouldn't. I mean, I ran these numbers last night. I'm just one committee member, but it took me 2.5 minutes. It really comes to San Francisco 1. Steve, do you object?
No.
Okay. Who's the 2 seed?
Philly.
They win.
Wow.
They own the head-to-head over Kansas City. If Kansas City's included, they might own the head-to-head now. This week's game is huge for Philly when it comes to the playoff race.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay with Philly at 2 as long as we're including Miami and Baltimore at 3 and 4.
Wow,
No.
dude. Now, this is where the committee is going to have a hard time.
This is easy.
You got to have quality wins, man.
We saw what the committee just did.
I'm putting Dallas 3.
Whoa.
I'm putting Dallas 3. Or 4. But at 3, I can't have the Miami Dolphins. They have no quality wins.
Miami's out.
All they do is score.
Okay.
And they stop you from scoring.
No, they don't stop you from scoring all the time. But then when they play the good teams, they don't score. So
Xavier, Jalen.
It'd be bad for the playoff if they get in and you're bringing them in on account of their scoring. That might not show up to the dance.
Okay. All right.
Let's say
Miami
the Ravens
out.
3.
I got Ravens 3.
Okay. So we're really just talking about one spot. I've said Miami. You said Dallas. Steve.
Miami.
Cowboys
Kansas City's the 4.
Yeah.
Steve said
Kansas City beat Miami in a real neutral site over in Germany.
Yep.
Kansas City 4.
But what about Dallas?
Same as Miami. No quality wins.
No quality wins. They beat Seattle. How many quality wins does Kansas City have? I'm just being John Swafford or something.
I like this. That's good.
How many quality wins does Kansas City have? Miami, the one team we're saying has no quality wins?
Dallas got the hard-charging L.A. Rams by 23 points.
So
Jags with Trevor Lawrence?
Since nobody knows who you vote for, I'll vote for Kansas City.
And I'm gonna vote for Dallas.
Wow.
Kansas City will be in with y'all's 2 votes.
So damn, Dallas gets snubbed. Fuck, is Micah gonna take us to task?
Dallas,
Twitter.
Dallas and Miami in the whatever the hell Georgia and Florida State are playing.
Yeah, like the Fiesta
Orange Bowl.
or something. Orange Bowl. Yeah.
Orange Bowl.
You shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Game Time makes it easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area, even last-minute deals. I know because I always wait till the last minute. You can preview the views from all your seats in the venue, and Game Time's lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, protects my tickets. That's what I need. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices show your total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal before you check out. Buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code GREENLIGHT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code GREENLIGHT. GREENLIGHT. That's the code. for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So, anyways, let's get to the college football playoff, dude, because there's a lot of people crying. There's a lot of tears. Flood watch, Danny Cannell and Booger's tears.
Booger.
Here's
Booger.
my question. What did Booger do?
It's Booger. You know, but it's
I love Boog.
travesty for the sport.
I know, but here's the thing. Here's the question I'll ask you is, have you heard anybody, I'm talking about a neutral fan of college football that's upset Florida State's not in? I mean, I'm sure there's some people.
Casuals, yeah.
By and large, though, it's the Florida State people, right? I haven't really been plugged into this.
No, it's more than I thought that are.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the point? You know, like what's the?
They think 13-0 undefeated conference champs should be in, no matter what. And what I'll say is, for 10 years since we had the playoff, this is what it was supposed to be. 4 spots, 5 conferences.
Yeah.
Somebody was going to get left out and be hurt. And we've just not had enough qualified teams during this run. And now we do. And we did. And then when you have more than enough qualifying teams for the 4 spots, you rank them. And that's what happened.
Dude, I have no problem with this. I feel bad
Neither
for
do I.
the Florida State guys.
So do I.
Yeah, I do. Like, football's not fair all the time. It's just not. And,
No.
you know, to the people, because I got on Eisen on Monday, and it was funny. You guys couldn't hear me, couldn't hear Rich. But the guys in the back, Nolan being a Philly guy, his ears perked up because Eisen, he asked me the question, and obviously he thought he had an ace in the hole, which is that, you know, Philly, when we won the Super Bowl, what would have happened to us? Well, the difference is, of course, it's a lot easier to standardize strength of schedule in general in the NFL. So that's one. But the most important thing is we had 3-4 games to play with Nick Foles to show that we were still kind of the same team. We went to New York. We scored 31 points. We won a low-scoring game against Vegas. He finished the game in L.A. in a shootout, against the Rams in a big game. You just can't make that comp because it's intellectually dishonest anyways. Because what you're saying is that Florida State has a chance to win the national championship. It's not like these two things are happening in a vacuum and you're like, oh, Eagles 2017, Florida State 2023. We know what happened to the Eagles. So what you're telling me is Florida State can do that. I don't see it.
And Florida State was on the other side of this in 1993. They were 11-1. Notre Dame was 11-1, and West Virginia was 11-0 going into that selection. And they selected Florida State ahead of both an undefeated.
I'd like
West
to see
Virginia
the Knoll 69's timeline back then.
My only gripe is that if you think Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon would drill this FSU team, and I think those teams would, drop them to 8. We don't need to give them 5 for a participation.
Right.
If you're going to be honest about it, drop them to 8 because that Louisville game was a hard watch.
Yeah, it was a tough watch. It was a really tough watch. And, you know, same thing could be said. It's kind of irrelevant, but not to SMU. You know, Liberty slides into the top 6, gets that bowl spot.
Yeah, that's brutal.
That's an inconsistency, right? Because
SMU played Power 5 programs out of conference, and Liberty didn't.
Yeah, they held the strength of schedule against those teams from that conference, but then not Liberty this year. Now, when it comes to those 4 teams, no matter what, I think this is it. You can't lose an argument. This is a really fun argument, right? Because everybody's really passionate about it. Even the people like me who are casual, I have an opinion, and I don't feel wrong. No one's wrong about this because there's no criteria.
Correct.
Like, it's an opinion. Whatever you have, it's not a fact. It's an opinion. And, you know, when it comes to opinions, what I do is I watch the tape. You know, like, there's no criteria to say, as Steve put it, this has never been a perfect process. We haven't had a situation like this since probably the first playoff, right, with TCU, where there's controversy. We're lucky we've gotten to this point, and it's a good problem to have because this would be the perfect year for the 12-team playoff, dude.
Yep.
Look at this 12-team playoff, man. I mean, I don't know if you can pull it up, but I was looking at some of the matchups. we haven't had a playoff where there isn't a blowout in the first round. I can't spot many at all in this 12-team playoff. So when this happens, I think people are going to be happy, and hopefully the parity in college football, relatively speaking, continues. And it's not just like, hey, there's one team from the SEC or Clemson from the Deshaun era or the Trevor era. And, we can actually get this playoff to where I don't know what happens. Who wins this playoff, Steve? How do you see this 12-team playoff going if they had rolled this year?
With those four spread out.
Is there a double-digit line in here? Liberty and FSU, possibly?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's
Alabama, the Liberty FSU winner.
Yeah, Liberty. Yeah. So you have a little bit of a mess up there up top, but otherwise, I don't see single digits. Mizzou, Oregon, Ole Miss, and Georgia. I don't know.
It was double digits last time.
Yeah, it was double digits. It'd probably be double digits again. But you get some good ball games that you wouldn't get otherwise. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
what do you
in the Final Four? You wouldn't get any blowouts.
No.
Other than Bama, possibly.
Which we should have this year.
Yeah, we're gonna have it anyways.
Can't we not? I get all that, but when you look at these matchups, what we have for New Year's Day, it is spectacular.
So what do you think? First read.
First read, I wonder about Michigan, and I asked the question: is Michigan better than they were last year? Just for an assessment of Michigan, and I'm not sure. Obviously, McCarthy is a year older. And everybody's going to point to what he did and turn the ball over against TCU being a factor in that game. But I wonder about Michigan and the idea in the Big Ten where you don't have an athlete like Jalen Milroe at quarterback in that league.
Yeah.
So I trust
Iowa
Michigan's. Huh?
Iowa quarterback? Did you see the body?
No, Hill doesn't have the juice that Milroe
It looks
does.
like he won a contest to be out there. Can we talk about something real quick?
Oh.
At what point and we're starting to call him out on it, but I watch these Dr. Pepper throwing contests every year now, and it's basically like the tuition Hunger Games. When you say it out loud, like it's like one of you's going to college, one of you's going to get crushed by student loan debt, ready break, and Alejandro walks off, and he's going to college, and Charlie from, I'm watching the Pac-12 championship game. He's got to go pay for college, and the next game you actually get one that is all fucked up, and somebody might have won who didn't win, and the other guy gets $100K. How fucked up are these contests, dude?
It's tough.
You think the playoffs bad?
We need to eliminate the chest pass of it all. We need to have actual football throws, punt, pass, and kick.
I can't.
What if we just moved the yardage back and made the target bigger?
In today's society, it's cruel. It's just cruel. It's cruel.
And the loser is killed.
That's how you probably feel when you lose that contest, dude. I mean, talk about half-court shot. You think I got nothing to lose, except for the guy who tore his Achilles at the Staples Center. But these people, these poor fucking people, dude. Crazy. Anyways.
I reckon Alabama's going to be pretty public. Maybe people.
No doubt. They already are.
Steve, you called that too. I was watching all the TV programs. You, Desmond Howard, all the folks, and you were on Bama. So I just want to take that moment.
Coming off 2 3-point victories.
Yeah, coming off 2 3-point victories.
Michigan's been rolling. People not giving Michigan their due.
Mm-hmm.
I like Michigan and Texas.
Michigan and Texas, okay.
To play for
I'll
all
take a
of
shot with Washington with the idea what they have they're going to be fully healthy. Texas is awesome. I love I'm so happy for Sark. I was actually more nervous for them Saturday night than anybody, just because you get all this talk and it's like, wait a minute, is the head-to-head going to Tuscaloosa going to matter here?
Yeah.
With the way people were talking about Alabama. So
it did.
I just look. Texas is going to have to start a true freshman at safety and corner, and Washington's receivers. You saw what they did to Oregon, and Oregon's secondary is not a strength. But Washington, I feel like Texas will be the public there. Everybody will bet the over because they know the quarterbacks' names. But I look at Washington as a live dog there to keep that one close. To end the night, that game is in New Orleans. Those two fan bases, that's fantastic.
And who do you like in the national championship?
I got to see who wins the semis, Chris.
Let's say Macon's. What was that? You or who said Michigan?
Everybody's saying Bama Texas rematch. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say one of those doesn't happen.
Yeah, Michigan over Texas.
Michigan over Texas.
Yeah.
Steve, what do you think about Wyoming in their bowl game? I'm kind of looking at Wyoming. Chase Long's looking to fucking New Year's.
Is that because it's the first game of bowl season?
You don't even know who they play, maybe. I think they played Toledo or something.
On the CW.
Yeah, on the CW.
Your
my
network.
home network. That's why. I just did a little plant here. Network plant, Chris.
I thought you were going to ask about your Montana Grizz being alive in the FCS playoffs.
Well, when is that game? Because I'll bet the house on the Grizz. I don't need much right now.
Are you all right?
I'm waiting for those lines to be posted.
You doing okay?
Not doing
I
great.
believe they are Saturday night.
Saturday
or
night.
Friday night. No, they might be Friday night.
Okay. Well, just tell me what you think about Wyoming when you know.
Okay.
All right. You got any awards to give out before we get into our locks and finish?
I do. Speaking of the FCS playoffs, Albany is still alive. Quarterback Reese Poffenbarger. Reese Poffenbarger.
Great Dane.
Maryland kid. Believe he started at Old Dominion. Left there. He's a Great Dane for Albany. Threw for 2. Ran for 2. They rolled Richmond. 41-13, I think. He's accounted for 39 touchdowns. Keep an eye on the Great Danes in these FCS playoffs. But Reese Poffenbarger, your Timmy Chang Award winner.
There we go. Let's
Congrats
get
to Reese,
yeah.
you know? That's what I have to say about that. Not just everybody runs and throws on Richmond.
No. Go ahead. What's your next award? You got another one?
No, that's it.
That's it this week.
We're all in on the FCS playoffs.
Okay. All right.
That's all we got left for a while.
All right.
Wow,
And
Wyoming's
now-
a point dog against Toledo.
Hey, listen, guys. I don't know how you want to rank the 3 guys in the locks. I know I have a feeling I'll be like 3rd or something by some metric, but 21-18 Macon, 21-18 Steve, 21-16-2 me. So I don't know how I end up 3rd, but I guess you
No,
guys
that just means you get to pick third.
pick
You're
3rd.
in first.
Okay, good.
No,
good.
you're
I'm
in
just
first
making
place. You're in
Making
first
sure.
place.
Making sure.
How did Steve and I get tied?
0-3, baby.
Is that right?
He knew.
Yeah.
Tell me how my ass tastes, Steve. 3-0 for Big Make Dog, huh?
It's how fast it can happen, buddy.
Okay, you're saying it's me?
Yeah.
How does my ass
We'll start
taste,
with you.
guys?
You're up 2 pushes. It's a little.
Yeah, it's
little
good
Yeah.
though. I
Yeah.
have more money.
Everybody have their fun.
He's not
all right?
up any. They're tied.
Peanut Gallery in the back chiming in.
Yeah, there it is.
Where's our staff picks?
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh,
Read the blog.
Read the blog.
Log.
on my copy and paste here, I have Jags Browns at 36.5. You're telling me that's 31? That changes things just a little bit.
I see 30.5.
It's a key
Okay.
number.
These
All
are
right.
updated.
In
Okay.
today's NFL, this is a key number.
Okay. I don't know.
Is Thursday night on the table?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Making you up because you're picking first. Don't know how you get to pick first over Steve.
Steve, would you like to pick first?
Oh, tiebreak goes to who had the dumpster fire of the weekend.
Okay. I'll take a team I really like against a team I'm not sold on, quite frankly. The LA Rams plus 7 points
That's a good play.
in Baltimore. Might be a half-point contender there.
Good play alert.
Interested to see weather there. Getting a little chilly.
Kyron can play in any weather.
You're up, Steve.
I am going to take the Las Vegas Raiders plus 3 at home.
Dog it.
I'll be damned.
You had him too.
If I'm being honest with you, Chris,
No.
I didn't.
Yeah. But you also don't have any until
No.
right now.
No. I have some underlined
Okay,
here.
good.
Yeah, I used the underline feature on Word,
Oh, nice. Okay.
Microsoft Word.
I'll take the Kansas City Chiefs minus 2.5 at home. I'm just going to keep riding these guys, man. I'm making a stand on Kansas City. My legs are tired, but I stand on.
Okay. All right.
2.5.
I'll raise you 2.5. Give me the Atlanta Falcons at home to win the division against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That number's 2.5. Atlanta at home, minus 2.5.
I like a lot of these plays, guys.
I didn't have them last week for the first time in a while. I will take them and get back on the train. Give me the Eagles plus 3.5.
Wow. Okay. All right. Some people like that total. Some people like that total, guys, but not me.
Damn, Steve, that's a good pick. Sorry, Chris.
No, you're good.
Pick, Steve.
I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. Jets are ready to quit.
No way. That's my most fascinating game this week.
Yeah,
I can't wait because this is it for the Jets. Like,
how many times can it be it for the Jets? You know what I mean? I agree with you. This
is it.
But how many times can they say that?
Okay, here's if we can, the Jets lose, we don't mention their name.
Yeah, we'll just stop.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Everybody on board.
I think all major podcasts should have to do that too.
I don't see that.
Just joking.
Makes your turn.
Yeah, I know whose turn it is. That doesn't seem right.
Indeed.
Macon, it's your turn.
Lions, Bears, over.
Whoa.
Lions, Bears, over.
Okay.
Give me a number.
40.
40 points.
Yeah, I mean, it looks juicy.
Okay. I will take Cowboy reads Broncos. Give me my half point there, plus 3.5.
Gosh darn it.
We're aligned, though, huh? Positive week.
Yeah, I know. Which leads me to my next pick.
Getting off of Steve's stink.
Now, guys, you're off the board here, but help a friend in need.
Yes, go.
Right, now, here's the problem I have, Steve. He's not going to help me. If anything, he might try to hurt me.
That's not how I roll.
All right, Steve.
I got you. I'm right here.
Sunday, I had a rough Sunday night because of the Chiefs and all those teasers that came crashing down, and I was like, fuck it. I'm going to put my nuts on the table right now. A lot can change for the Bengals. It could probably get worse, right? I'm going to bet the Colts money line, which was like 2-1, something like that. And now it is like a pick 'em.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of wondering, do I just take the Colts? Because nobody's going to be on the fucking Colts.
Nobody.
Did you see last night?
Mo says to take the team, go against the team that covered on Monday night.
That's what the book says?
Yep.
Now, I will tell you, I'm just going to fucking do it, man.
All right.
Putting all my chips on the table. I got my real chips on the table. I got my reputational chips on the table. All right? I don't care.
Chase, T. Higgins.
I don't care. Something about this doesn't make sense.
WDE.
What do you think it was going to be? What do you think it was going to be? If you were Vegas and you were trying to put the line on, like, what?
Pick.
I would have it as a pick 'em.
You would.
Pick.
Well, fuck you guys then. Then I kind of like Pittsburgh,
7
New England
points?
under 30.
Ooh,
Give me the Pittsburgh,
That's just-
New England under 30. The Undertaker.
And that's
You want to
all
add
right,
your
so we
half
got
point there, make it 30.5?
No, I don't know what you would do in this situation if you were me.
typically, you got one round number, you make it a hook.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like these pushes are what has me in first
Go
place
with
in
your
the first
gut.
place.
That's true.
So I'm going to go Texans to 5.
Okay.
It makes no sense, maybe, but neither does you guys being tied with me right now. Because if you tail me, you're actually going to keep the most of your money.
Rams, please, plus 7.5.
Gotcha. All right. Any games you all didn't bet that look interesting, like Panthers, Saints?
Fuck
Colts,
yeah, there's
Bengals?
so many right now that look interesting. They're all appetizing.
Why are there 2 Monday night games?
Don't know. But that might be the night that I bet the Dolphins. I really do.
Yeah.
And I don't know why none of us didn't pick the Packers. We were talking about it earlier. Jordan Love, he's seen blitz. He's handled the blitz. I love the Broncos-Chargers play from Steve. I think we both probably do. How do you feel about my Chiefs play?
I think that's. I just
feel good.
I don't.
That's a great response.
I don't.
He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it.
Stay away, or you like the other side.
What they look like. I don't like it.
I don't like what they look like.
Defense
either,
has been getting got.
They'll be home anytime. You know.
They are different at home.
They're going to. No, I mean they can wake up anytime, dude.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And then I love the Raiders. We've basically picked every game on the slate here between the three of us. And
Macon would take his Cowboys that he loves so much in the playoff.
He liked the. I put Miami in there.
I had a mention of the Cowboys.
No, I know.
I don't want to beat them in the playoffs.
Eagles is the right side, 3.5. You kidding me?
Hey, any of these totals? All right, let's just run through the totals real quick because we didn't play a lot of totals. Texans, Jets. Am I seeing that right? 33?
Yep.
Under, yeah. Tank Dell, you got to adjust to that. And that, by the way, that's a lot of points in a low total game for your boy. But oh well. Rams, Ravens, 40.5.
Heard something about weather.
Okay. Staying away from that total. Panthers, Saints, 37.5. By the way, you should take the Panthers here. I got a feeling. And I like the under. I do. Colts, Bengals, 40. I think that's going over. And if it goes under, the Colts win. That's why I feel good about this. Okay, I might hedge with the over bet.
My getting home by 7:30, under or over?
That
was a little
probably bad time.
Little production joke.
It did take you 3 minutes.
I've been home in 2 days, but that's a guy with a job, and
that's a little podcast
not
joke.
Real estate, which is a trade.
It's a hobby.
It's a
vocation, really.
Last one that I think, because Macon wants to get out of here, 40.5 Vikings Raiders is something I'm eyeing up. Steve. Under? Yeah, I could be talked into that. And then the Eagles and Cowboys, actually. This is one somebody texted me about earlier. That number's shooting up. Yeah. And I think it's too late to get on it at 53. If it gets up to 54, maybe I like the under.
Okay. I got one question for you guys.
Yeah.
Where are the AFC title game and NFC title games going to be played?
Kansas City and San Francisco.
Wow.
Why?
Just wondering.
What do you think?
Baltimore and San Francisco.
Wow. I just don't see. I don't see Baltimore coming out of that couple game gauntlet. Well, now that Trevor's hurt, I like their matchup against Miami. I just think they lose to San Francisco. And then what? What if the Chiefs went out? Anyways, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Macon's got to get home, guys.
Should we go through the kickoff times of every game?
Shocker.
Oh, the fucking podcast is an hour and 10 minutes. You've had 10 days off. People online ask me, we need more Macon. I'm like, yeah, if he'd be willing to work more.
That's a problem.
Yeah. All right. That is the end
big
of the show.
signee for Wahoo Was.
Huh?
Chris Tyree,
Domer.
Yeah, Chris Tyree. I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about.
Notre Dame, slot back.
Okay.
Quarterback. We got a quarterback.
Oh, we got a quarterback
coming in. Yeah.
We don't need a quarterback. We have Calandria.
Yeah, after Calandria.
Okay, good. All right, good.
It's a pipeline now.
Good. Take care, everybody.
Love you, Steve.
Love you guys. Shout out to the branch.
You owe me something.